Darren Peterson. I know what Goodman's answer is going to be here, and I told you this already, Ani. We're going to have to spend the next 2 years of our lives hearing Goodman say, "I fell in love with Darren Peterson at Rock Hill." Does he belong in the conversation for number one player in the class of 2025 with AJ and with Cam Boozer?
Yeah, 100%. I think he does. He's right up there with them. At his size of 6'5", the ability to score. We talk about guys that just have like AJ, like has a natural ability just to get a bucket. I feel like that with Darren at his size, and I think people talk about the scoring a lot with him. I love his passing ability, his ability to play make. And I think there's some even more upside there with him as a passer. And he defends like he had in Rock Hill, he had like 4 block games, like 5 steals in a game. Like he made plays on both ends. And at his size, like you see, really good NBA guards at his size that can compete on the defensive end and be a defensive playmaker, but also make shots. Like it translates. So to me, just with his physical profile, his ability to impact the game on both ends, and I think there's still a lot in his game that can be unlocked. Yeah, he definitely deserves to be in the number one conversation.
Who's he remind you of?
You're gonna have to circle back with me on that. That one's hard. That one's a little bit harder for me. Exactly who? Um,
You got to go one,
he's not.
Goodman?
I mean, a little bit of Shea, a little bit, just with the size and ability to score and, make people better. I just think it's funny. When I saw him in Rock Hill, I was like, dude, maybe this kid might be the best player in the class. And I said it. I was like, he's definitely in the equation as far as I'm concerned. You saw him the first game. Then I'm like, all right, need to see him again because, again, I say this all the time. Listen, we don't cover this like you do, Ani. We're not out there year round covering it. So we might get a guy on his best day. We might get a guy on his worst day. I thought maybe that's his best day. Now I asked a couple coaches that were recruiting him. I'm like, is this his best day right now? And they're like, no. In April, he was like this too. And
Yeah.
he kept coming like that. I mean, he kept like we have one game, forget who it was against, but it was the last game. Who did they play at the end? They played Compton Magic, I think. And the dude got to the line like 20 times. 20 times. I mean, they didn't win, but I love that about him. I love the fact that, again, he can shoot it now. He's a much better passer than I think he was a year ago. He's big. He's physical. He was dominant defensively. Every possession, every single possession, this dude was trying to lock dudes down. Every possession, he did not take one off. I just think he's one of the better all-around guards I've seen in years. I put him up there. I'd be shocked if he's not a winning basketball player for the rest of his career. Like he's got the DNA. You can watch him and you fall in love with, again, his poise as well. Doesn't get flustered. Man, these 3 guys, so again, I watched him and I'm like, maybe he's the number one guy. Then I go to the Peach Jam a week later. I'm like, holy shit, AJ's gotten better. Cam Boozer just does what he does, but he's out at a 3-point shot. Like, how do you figure it out with these 3 dudes? They're all different, and that's the beauty of them. They're all unbelievably talented and productive players.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, we'll
So
get into the.
I have I
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
have a comp. So I look at him like a Drew Holiday. You know, someone that can really compete defensively. Drew was a beast in high school too. Someone that could really score. I think Darren has better like scoring capabilities, and like you said, Jeff, he can get to that line. He get to the foul line a little bit, and that reminds me a little bit like how Russell Westbrook was, just someone that can really kind of live in the foul line. Darren's, I say Drew Holiday reminds me a little bit of how Russell was, but just a big guard that can defend and score and play make.
Yeah, though there's a lot of value when it comes to those guys that you can play, 6'5", a little bit switchable, physical, get to the line, make threes, can also play off the bounce. It could be a combo. Secondary creation is something that's really important at the NBA level and at the college level as well. Speaking of college, he's an Adidas kid. He plays on the Adidas circuit. He has an Adidas NIL deal. Is he a lock, Goodman, to go to an Adidas school? I know he's already visited Kansas, and I believe he has a visit scheduled to USC. There's a bunch of other schools recruiting him, but I think those are the two that came up the most when it just in conversations about him.
No, I don't think he's a lock. I don't think he's a lock for it. But again, I would say Kansas is the leader. Remember, he's from Ohio. Ohio State, I'm hearing, is in very, very strong with him. He's going to cut his list to 8 here soon. But I don't think he's a lock to Adidas. Just like I don't think AJ is a lock to Nike, but I think that's a lot better. Listen, if my money's on a Nike school for AJ, my money's not necessarily on an Adidas school for Darren, but I would say, to me, Kansas is probably the leader at this point.
Ani?
Yeah, Kansas is the leader right now, but it's not a lock. Ohio State, I know they're working on getting a visit set up. Like I said, USC will have a visit set up. I heard Kentucky, they may try to get a visit there too. There's some other schools kind of trying to get in and get official. So I wouldn't say it's a lock, but Kansas is in the lead right now. With Ohio State, they're a dark horse. They're very interesting to me on potentially getting them.
Yeah, it's very interesting now. We've always heard about how you have Adidas kids want to go to Adidas schools and Nike kids want to go to Nike schools. And now they're actually able to sign individual NIL deals with those shoe companies before they get to college. It changes the dynamic and it changes the conversation. And it probably just puts everything that was happening before, Jeff, on paper instead of having it be like, here's a duffel bag full of cash for you.
Change a little bit, no doubt.